Hello. Welcome to everyone in this podcast. I am Devdrat with my co-host Hiram, and today we are with Mr. Gourab Ghosh, an IIT Bombay Computer Science and Engineering graduate. He's currently working at AMD Zealings. So, welcome, Gaurav Dada.
Thanks, Deva. So,
Yeah.
very happy to join today. I'm excited just as much as you guys are.
Thank you.
Oh,
So, Dada, when I wrote my first code, it was very exciting for me. Do you remember when you wrote your first line of code, or what was that line of code?
what was that line of code? I guess even you can take a good
Yeah,
guess at it.
exactly. Hello,
So,
boy.
yeah, right. So,
Yeah.
when I wrote, uh, it was during my class 11,
Okay.
standard 11.
Okay.
So, some say plus one.
Okay.
So, I took computer science as an elective subject. So over there we had C++ as a programming language.
I see.
So that was when I wrote my first code, you can say.
Yeah, I
It's a
understand.
long time back.
Yeah, many years have passed. Yeah. So, Dada, what was your experience during your undergraduate years?
Uh, Broadly, if I say during my undergrad years, my experience was a mix of two phases. The first 2 years of my college, I was, you can say, an average or maybe a below average student. So I was more focused in the extracurriculars. So every weekend I was going out to play football, and then back at that time we had a startup of our own. So I used to spend more time there than studies.
Yeah.
So the first 2 years, from a studies point of view, not much, but from an experience point of view, it was very rich and fulfilling. I used to go to different college fests and all. So those are the memories that I have. And the third
Yeah.
and fourth year was very boring because that was the time I was preparing for GATE. Locked in my
Oh,
room, this one only.
yeah.
That was very boring, but that was
Worth it.
fruitful
Worth
from
it.
a
Yeah.
CS point of view.
Totally. So, Dada, when did you first think of being masters?
Yeah, so there is an interesting backstory to it, which this is not the first place I am uh, revealing it. So
Okay.
what happened is, as I told you, that I was an average to a below average student.
Yeah.
Another context that I want to give you is that I am from UEM Kolkata, and we were the 2015 batch. So we joined UEM Kolkata in 2015, and UEM Kolkata started in 2015. So
Oh, so you were the first. Oh,
we
I see.
exactly. So
Oh,
we were the first batch, and thus when you join first batch, having no previous records, no
yeah.
seniors,
Yeah.
and nothing to look up to, no clarity on which companies will be coming, whether they will be coming or not to a newly opened college, university. Add to that a below average student, I was full with doubts. Okay,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it was somewhere around the fourth semester mark when my grades were very low, and I knew that in 1 year's time my placements will be starting right after sixth sem. So I am far away from a position to bag a job. I knew that.
Yeah.
So it was at that point of time when I gave masters a thought,
Okay.
not because I wanted to do it or some other thing, but as an escape, as an
Yeah,
excuse, you can say, of not getting a job from my
exactly.
college placement. So I thought that if I tell my parents that I am, I want to pursue masters,
Mhm.
that's why I didn't get a job. So it could be a good enough excuse. So it was fourth semester, right? It was fourth semester when this thought came to me, and I started. looking into the prospects of MTech as well as MBA and which one to go for.
Okay.
Right.
So, Dada, are there any words of advice for students who come from colleges where no product-based companies or good companies visit for placements?
Okay, so your first term was more appropriate, product-based company, because when you
Yeah,
say good companies don't visit, which how do you know which company is good or not? Because
yeah, exactly.
more or less TCS, Wipro, Cognizant, these service-based giants visit
Uh,
almost all the
yeah,
colleges, and
colleges. Yeah.
those are good companies. Those are very good
Mhm,
companies to work for.
mhm,
Okay, make no mistake. So I'm firstly clarifying this thing that if you are getting a job in a good service-based company like these MNCs that
mhm,
I mentioned,
mhm.
that is a good enough company to work for. You get good benefits, a good work culture, you get to grow in your career, health insurance, term insurance, these things
Yeah.
taken care of. Very good. The only problem with service-based companies is that I would say it's the compensation. So, uh, 10 years back, TCS would have given you around 3.5 lakhs as a fresher.
Mhm.
TCS would give you today 3.5 lakhs as a fresher.
Oh,
Now you can see the problem, right?
yeah, exactly.
So that is the only concern. So taking nothing away from those students who wanted to get a job in these service-based companies, because you see, if all you wanted is to get a job in a service-based company and you got that, it's a very good result for you, right? So no one can take it away from you, no one can take
Mhm.
that joy away from you, saying that this company is not good, you can do better, these things, because you wanted
Exactly.
that.
Yeah, very good point.
So so the discussion should be that what do you want, can you aim higher,
Mhm.
as I said. So by higher I mean, instead of a service based company you can look into product based companies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
exactly.
your question was, if I remember correctly, that
Advices for
what would
students
be
who come from colleges. So,
right
yeah. Okay,
if
so
product based companies are not coming, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, what are your advices for the students who wish to work for product-based companies?
Right.
Yeah.
So if you find out that uh, I want to work for a product based company instead of a service based company, I want to give it a good enough shot and maybe I can do it.
Mhm.
So what I can say is, once you start preparing for a product based company, you will clearly see the difference, that the preparation needed for bagging a service based job
Mhm.
is much easier compared to a product based one. And the moment you uh, start running in that race of the product based one, you start preparing for that,
Mhm.
after a point of time you will not be needing the assistance of your college placements. Okay,
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
what I'm saying is 6 months into your preparation for a product based company, you will develop automatically, take my word for it, you will develop good enough confidence that you will say, I don't need my college to bring a product based company, I can apply offline. Maybe I need to apply at 20 companies in order to get a call from 3 of them, but even that is fine, I'm prepared enough. So you will get
Yeah,
that confidence.
exactly.
So that is my advice, that once you are in that preparation phase for a product based company, which is again again phrasing it, that it will be tough, but
Yeah.
once you are in a position that you have solved a lot of coding problems and you have uh, learned about system designs and computer fundamentals, you will develop that confidence. So
Mhm.
that is what I can see. There is
Yeah, yeah.
nothing stopping you. I mean, those companies not visiting your college is by no way stopping you from getting a job as a fresher
Oh,
over there.
I see. Yeah, exactly. So, rather extending the question, I would like to ask: when should an engineering student begin to explore programming?
Can you repeat?
Yeah, when should an engineering student begin to explore programming? Is it first year
Okay,
that he must start coding,
there
or
is
there is no time? Yeah.
Exactly. There is no right answer to it.
Uh,
So ideally, if you ask me
hmm,
that if I can revisit my college days and
yeah.
start from my first year, having the experience that I already have, then
Mhm,
what would I do differently
mhm,
than what I did? So I would say the first year I would spend exploring a lot of domains. Like if you are a computer science student, there are a lot of domains that you can explore. And then after the first year would be gone just knowing the field is
yeah.
what I feel, because you need to know about the job market and what are the uh, companies that will be coming, and then how to prepare, what to prepare, what are the subjects and what are the domains. If I choose this domain, yeah, I've heard about AI a lot, but what do I need to learn for it? First year will be gone asking these questions is what I feel. So if you dedicatedly want to start coding, second year is a good enough time. First year they will be giving you classes on the basics of coding. Like remember the hello world thing we were discussing.
Yeah, exactly.
So first year would be like the hello world of coding. Do not skip those classes.
Mm,
Do not skip those classes, because those are the fundamentals that you will be needing going forward.
mhm.
But mm, uh, be more focused on asking a lot of questions,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
no matter how foolish they seem. Ask questions to your seniors, like those who are in second year, those who are in
Mm,
third year, those who are in fourth
mm,
year. And if you ask a single question to all of those, you will get different answers.
exactly. Yeah.
So that is the thing. If you ask a third year student that, Dada, do I need to worry about placements? They will say,
Mm.
yeah, it's very tough. If you ask the same thing to a fourth year student who already got a placement, they will say, no, chill, everyone will get it. So that is the thing.
Just
Spend your time
interacting.
asking a
Yeah,
lot of questions. Yeah,
yeah,
asking a
interacting
lot
with
of
the
questions to your
problem.
teachers, seniors, everything. Get to know the field,
Mm.
and do not neglect those fundamental coding
Yeah.
course that your college gives you. From the second year, I would say you can start exploring on your own, like properly.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Very,
what
very
I
well
can
answered.
recommend.
Why I ask this question is because most first year students tend to believe that it's too early to start coding in their first years. Uh, I remember during normal conversations with my friends in the canteen, they say that, but I have noticed that many students aren't even aware. Like, what do I have to say to them?
See, this is the thing. Uh, Coding karna hai ki nahi is not the question. Are they aware of it or not is the question.
Mm,
If you go to any non IIT NIT colleges, which we have termed as tier 2, tier 3. I
mhm,
don't know who gives the tires, but let's say let's
uh-huh,
let's denote them as tier 2, tier 3, although
yeah.
there is no proper uh,
Mhm,
uh, anyway. So if you
mhm,
if you go to a tier 3 college, you will see that out of 500 students, 400 of them are not even aware that what do they need to do.
yeah,
they
very
think
well said. Yeah.
they think that till now the way I was studying is the way forward. Like think about
Mhm,
it. uh,
mhm.
till your school life, what did you do
Mhm.
mostly? You had
I
subjects every
hmm,
every every class, and you studied those.
studied
And then came a day when you had to just vomit whatever you
pour all the
marked down,
water. Yeah.
right? So
Mhm,
maybe class 11 and 12 would have been a little different for some of you
mhm.
who took private tuitions and
Entrance exams who prepared for it.
entrance exams, aspiring for those medicals and JE.
Mhm,
But apart from that, school is really about this thing. You
mhm.
study for 6 months and then vomit on a particular day. And
Yeah.
based on that, you will be judged.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, when you come to college, you will see a very similar thing happening. You will
Mhm,
see the semester system where I study for 4.5 months, and then I have an exam. So you the you might think that whatever I was doing in school is the way forward over here as well. But the awareness is more important, that what worked back then in school might not work in college.
Mhm.
I need to put in some extra efforts from my side as well if I'm aiming for something higher.
Mhm.
See,
Mhm.
one thing, let's be clear about it. Your college worries about you in the sense that they worry whether you will get a job or not.
Mhm.
If you get a job, then they are happy. Fine. My work is done, they will say. Now, which job you get, they don't care. Okay. They do not have the bandwidth to care. It's not their fault, but they cannot care much about if you, being a good student, got a below average package or not. They cannot care about so many students, right? So all they care is about numbers. Out of 500 students, 400 got placed, 450
Yeah.
got placed.
Mhm.
So from day one, I mean, from day one, their approach would be to prepare you in such a way that you will get a job in fourth year. But they will prepare you so that, like, they will prepare you in the minimal way possible. Like, इतना तो कर ले भाई. कॉलेज बोलता रहता है फिर भी students don't do it, right? So their the faculty's first task is थोड़ा सा coding कर ले,
Ah,
and still
ah.
like 300 of them won't listen to them.
Yeah.
But what about those 100 students or those 50 students who are really passionate about this field, who really want to push themselves and want to get something bigger than those service based companies? College do
Mm.
not have time to think about them. If you are one of those, and if you are doing your homework, you know about the industry, and uh, you have made up your mind that I want to get into a good company. uh, let's say Google is my dream company, I will be giving it a good enough shot.
Mhm.
Then you have to do something which is outside your curriculum.
Exactly.
That 6 months per year and then I vomit won't work over there.
Mhm.
So these kind of awareness would be very helpful for students. Like, at least get to know that what are the scopes and what do you need to do in order to get there. Many people I can recall, including me in my first year and second year, what they do is they will say, oh, these things, these are very hard, these are not for me, these are for the
Mm.
toppers. Okay.
Yeah, I
you
guess
you
this is the story in every tier two, tier three college.
right. So
Uh,
the problem is, they are unaware that what it takes to get there. They will right away discard their chances. They will say मुझसे ना हो पाएगा. My humble request to every one of you is that at least get to know that what are the differences you will be getting when you work for, let's say, a big company like Microsoft versus a normal product service based company. What are the differences? Okay, these are the perks, these are like the working culture over there, these are the differences. Compensation, huge difference.
mm.
These experience, the knowledge you will get working, huge difference. And the second thing is, what do I need to do, what do I need to prepare in order to get there? Okay, so what do I need to do in order to get here, and what do I need to do in order to get here? First, at least know this,
Mm.
and then say कि मुझसे ना हो पाएगा.
Mhm.
Don't discard without doing your research, is what
Mhm.
I'm saying.
I have
Yeah,
literally
that's it.
seen, yeah, yeah. I have literally talked with students who say कि मैं coding second year से start करूँगा, third year से start करूँगा, third year. मतलब, yeah, you gave a very nice answer to that, and this is true that students who join college, obviously they have they just passed out from their high school. They feel कि ऐसे ही चलेगा. I'll pass the semester exams, get my degree, but they need to understand that they'll not get job on the basis of their degree. They'll have to learn. They need
right?
something to show their skill sets.
Right. So if I was an interviewer and I was interviewing you, surely I'll look into your CGPA column, CPI or whatever they call it.
Hmm.
But that is like 1 second of my focus. But I'll be
Hmm.
spending something like 1 minute on your CV, right?
Hmm.
तो marks तो देख लिया, उसके बाद क्या आता है?
Very
The projects
exactly.
you have done, the hands-on work you have done. So
Hmm.
these are not necessarily overlapping with your semester exams, semester how you perform in your semester exams. You could be an average student in your semester exams, but you might be madly in love with, let's say, development or coding.
Hmm.
Okay, and that is something you do even when the next day you have your exams, right? So you love, let's say, your coding so much that you are doing your daily coding, but tomorrow is your exam. So
Hmm.
your CGPA cannot enlist this factor, right? But your CV, in your CV, you will mention this, and these are the things that the interviewer will be more interested in. The interviewer will be more interested in the projects that you have done, and not whether you have written a good answer to a English paper that you had in your engineering, right?
Ah,
So that's
exactly.
the thing. So
So, as someone who has experienced both normal college and a tier one college, what are the differences you notice between them?
so many differences that if I start remembering now, then I'm sure I'll be missing out on half of them. So the first thing that I would like to point out as a difference is that I would like to ask you a question, that what do you think makes IITs so good? Like the students over there,
Yeah, the
what
students.
what is that one factor that makes them so good? What do you
The
think?
the consistency and or the awareness or the hard work.
See, hard work to tier 3 में भी होता है. Then what distinguishes IITs?
They put their work in something which is meaningful for the future or
So you're saying it's channelized properly, right? No.
ah,
So there are a lot of different answers to it. This question, many people answer differently. So
mhm.
some said that it's the professors. Many people say that the IIT profs are very good.
The
So
opportunities or the exposure they get.
no, opportunities you will get off campus as well, right?
Mhm.
So you can
Mhm.
appear for Amazon, Google off campus as well. So
Mhm.
coming to the professors thing, think about it. The lectures an IITian get on a particular course, those are recorded and uploaded in NPTEL.
Uh-huh.
So whatever I'm learning, you can learn the same.
So
Prof is not a barrier.
nah.
Then some people say that every IIT has such a huge campus and so many co-curriculum going on that it is good for the students' mental health. It enhances performance. Correct. The analysis is correct. But tell me something, there are so many other private colleges as well, which has a big campus, which has so many clubs. So again, what's the difference? See, the main difference from an IIT, uh, which distinguishes an IIT from a tier 3 college, is that the environment. What I mean by that, if I grab you and just put you inside an IIT classroom without you having to go through the preparation phase and all the character transformation that happens. So I just give you a shortcut. Okay, so let's say I tell you that you don't have to prepare for JEE, you don't have to prepare for GATE, forget about everything. I'll just give you a shortcut, I'll give you a wild card, and you can go and join that class which is happening in IIT. So from now on you will be part of that class. You might think that I will fail miserably. It could come to you because you will be thinking that I have not gone through the hard work it takes to crack JEE. So I don't know what it takes to like study for 10 hours. They know, but I don't know. How will I survive over there? First of all, they don't study 10 hours, first thing. But the thing is, whenever you are surrounded by 5 students who are very serious about their studies, you will automatically know what to do. So this particular thing is what I believe distinguishes IITs from the other colleges in India, I can say. Because think about it, uh, in your college, let's say, or maybe my college or any other XYZ college, out of 100 students, maybe 20 of them are pretty much serious about their studies. They want to get something which is big. It could be an MBA from a good college. It could be an MS from abroad, or maybe an MTech from IITs, whatever, or maybe a product-based companies. They want something big, and the rest 80 students, they are just going with the flow. जब
So
placements
academics.
आएंगे तब हाँ तब पढ़ लेंगे. So when you are in this class and you had some motivation kick last Sunday that okay, now I need to study a lot. On Monday when you go to your class, you will see that out of your
Students.
5 friends, 3 friends are just going about. And that is the thing, like when you made up your mind, your environment is not there to support you. But if I share my experience in IITs, during we had mid-sems over there which held a good enough percentage in our final grade. So mid-sem used to happen somewhere in the middle of the semester. So when the mid-sems were coming, on one day I remember I thought of just going out and play. Okay, because I wanted to get away from studies. It's not like I studied for 5 hours and then went for a rest. I just wanted to procrastinate and go to play. Okay, but the problem is I knocked on all my friends' door. None of them were ready to play. They were saying, "एक घंटा पढ़ लेता हूँ, उसके बाद आता हूँ." Okay, so whenever you will see such a response from 5 of your friends, a kind of proper sense will come back to you that okay, maybe I need to stop procrastinating and also get back to my studies as well. Okay, ऐसा होता है कि whenever you are alone, like in this COVID situation, all of us were inside our homes, locked in a sense. So whenever you are preparing alone or working alone, many a times these devil inside your brain gets the better of the angel inside your brain, right? So in situations like those, you would be wanting to be surrounded by people who think positively. Okay, if you are surrounded by people who say ठीक है भाई पढ़ने का मन नहीं कर रहा है, चल कुछ गेमिंग कर लेते हैं. I'm not saying gaming is bad, but when you need to study,
Yeah,
you need to study, right? So that is the thing, that you are surrounded by so many serious people, and I'm not saying that they are studying every day all the time. They are enjoying the hell out of it. Okay, in IITs we play, we enjoy our co-curriculum much more than any other tier 3 college student, because you don't have that exposure, but over there we have. So that is the thing, that you might be thinking that IITians are nerds. They are not. It's just that they can balance it out very well. जब खेलना होता है खेल लेते, जब पार्टी करना होता है चले जाते हैं, ठीक है, यहाँ पे एक प्रोग्राम हो रहा है तो वो अटेंड करने चले गए. But whenever there is time to actually work with deep focus, they will be surrounded by good people to push them. भाई ठीक है, 1 घंटे और कर लेते हैं, उसके बाद जाते हैं. This is something which I heavily lacked in my bachelor college. So this is
Very insightful answer.
this is a very big point, and the way to get around this problem is, if you are one of those serious students from a tier 3 college, doesn't matter, just identify those students who resonate with you. If you say मुझे गेट पर के IIT जाना है, find out 5 more people who say the same. If you say I want to do competitive coding, make a group. What happens is that there will be days when you don't feel like doing your daily coding. होता ही है, सबके साथ होता है. But when you will be thinking that okay, I need to go to that WhatsApp group and then say that आज मैंने कुछ नहीं किया. People will be saying कि आज का contest में तुम्हारा rank कैसा है, did you solve that problem and all, and I'll be totally quiet because I skipped today. जब मन में ये आएगा ना, तब खुद ही that angel would overpower the devil. So that is the thing. But if you are doing it alone, you will just okay, मन नहीं कर रहा, छोड़ देते, क्या होगा. That is the thing. Build a community. Build a community who resonates with your aim and work together. That is what I can say. One single piece of advice for tier 3 students that can change drastically the result that you have after your 4 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because students make the college. A college without students is just a building with classrooms. The students make that. Very, very insightful answer, Dada. Thank you. So now I'd like to hand this podcast over to my co-host Hiram. Yeah.
Sure.
So first, let me introduce myself. I'm Hirambo, and I'm taking up this podcast from now. So now we'll talk about different things related to coding, which you might have experienced. So let's first talk about competitive programming apps. It's pretty much hyped up right now, and many people are very eager to try that. Many people don't really know that what competitive programming actually is and all these things. So did you try competitive programming during your undergrad or during your college?
Yeah, so the answer is no. And I would tell you why. When I came to know about this competitive coding and stuff, because of, you can say, lack of guidance about it, what I thought was this is something which are only for the geniuses. Okay,
Yes.
those who spend their days and nights on this thing, only they can do it. And once I saw a video where a coder was like typing like hell, it was something like 200 words per minute.
Yes.
So these kind of things overwhelm you. Okay, and the same thing happened with me. So I never thought that ये मुझसे भी हो पाएगा. And which is by the way a very wrong conception to have. So that was the mistake that I had. So I never even gave it a shot. So what I mentioned in the first phase of this podcast is that it's fine if you say that मुझसे नहीं हो पाएगा, but it's never fine if you do not even explore that field.
Yes, I get it.
So I out and out decided that this is not for me without even exploring what are the things, what more importantly, what is the roadmap. So I was at level 0. Everyone starts from level 0, right?
Yes, right.
So I thought that those who are in level 10, how will I compete with them?
Yes, exactly.
So this is the wrong thing to think about. You are never competing with level 10. You are competing with yourself and those who are in your levels only. And
Means
the
it,
platforms that we, yeah,
yes,
so you were
means
saying?
it's like stereotyping yourself, right? That I
Yeah,
can't do.
right. So if you look at Virat Kohli and say I'll never be able to play like him, and then stop
Yes.
playing cricket altogether, that's the wrong thing to do, right?
Hmm.
So you will be playing cricket with your gully boys, and
Hmm.
those people are just as much talented in cricket as you, right? So
Yes, right.
as I was saying, that nowadays platforms are made in such a way
Hmm.
that it's more like a game. So
Yes, right.
all those games that we play in mobiles and laptops, they
Yes, yes.
they reward you in every
Hmm.
level, right? So
Hmm.
it
Right.
makes you, it makes the whole journey interesting. So nowadays competitive coding platforms are also made in such a way that they will give you targets, they will give
Hmm.
you
Right, right.
this set of topics to learn, and if you can solve within this much
Hmm.
time, if you can solve these many questions, then you will get badges and all. So if you follow that trajectory, then it will be much easier than you thought, and more importantly, much more fun.
Yes, they
So
are kind of
yes,
gamified coding, right?
yeah, right, exactly. So it's like
Hmm.
CS but gamified, as you said.
Yes, yes.
So this is uh, what I would say to all those second years and third year students, maybe
Hmm.
some of the first year students as well, that
Hmm.
you can start competitive coding. Just what you need is spend the first 5 to 10 days just researching what is the roadmap that I need to follow, and
Right,
then you
right.
are good to go. Because
Hmm.
if you just open a random problem out of
Hmm.
nowhere and then start
Hmm.
solving it, if you for example, if you open a random graph problem and uh, say to yourself, okay, let's solve this one and see how it goes, you will certainly fail, right? Because that is
Hmm.
a very
Right.
advanced concept. You start with
Yes.
arrays and maths and these kind of stuff. So
Hmm.
that is the thing, be on the right track and the journey will be quite fun. So you can start
Yes.
anytime.
Yes. And as a college student, you might also have tried development, and you must have seen on LinkedIn that in between there was chaos, that what should you do, whether you should do CP or whether you should more focus more on development. So, what are your thoughts on that?
See, this is really a very controversial topic to comment on.
Hmm.
I would say that, see, first come to the needs of both these things.
Hmm.
Why do you need to practice CP, or why do you need to practice or involve yourself in development, right?
Yes.
So development answer is very simple, that when you join industry, no one might ask you to reverse a linked list.
Right.
Like, these are the questions: reverse a linked list,
Hmm.
invert a binary tree. These are the
Right.
questions they will ask you inside competitive coding only.
Yes. Yes.
But when you join industry, no one is going to ask you to do that.
Hmm.
But if you spend your time on more on development,
Hmm.
then you would have a very hands-on experience of what is coming your way when you join the
Hmm.
industry, because in the industry you will be developing only.
Hmm.
So from that point of view, choosing development as a track looks like a very good idea.
Hmm.
But then why do people go for coding? Okay,
Yes.
industry में जो चाहिए मैं वही कर लेता हूँ ना.
Hmm.
See, first of all, let's start with the number of engineering students who are there in India.
Hmm.
So if you count them, then it will be many. Okay, let's go with
Yes.
many.
Yes. Yes.
So from an HR's point of view, or any hiring manager's point of view,
Yes.
they cannot give you a small task. Okay,
Hmm.
that develop this small system,
Hmm.
because
Exactly.
these are the kind of work that you will be doing joining our company.
Right.
So develop this system and come back to me after 7 days.
Hmm.
Based on your performance, based on how you develop this,
Hmm.
we will hire you.
Yes.
Why this is not a feasible way to conduct interviews is that how will you know that the candidate is not taking any help? You cannot monitor a candidate for 7 days straight, right?
Right.
You can only monitor a candidate for 1 hour, maximum 2 hours.
Exactly.
But the problem is you cannot judge a candidate on his development skills inside 1 hour.
Hmm.
That is why coding questions came up as a very good way to judge a candidate
Hmm.
long back, not only today
Yes.
or let's say 5 years back. It
Yes.
came long back. So
Hmm.
that is why interviewers took coding questions as a very good means to
Hmm.
judge a candidate's caliber.
Yes.
That if I give the candidate a complex coding question, then how he is thinking is what I'm more interested in. Whether he's approaching the correct answer or not, whether he's
Hmm.
typing out the answers at a very brisk pace or not, I don't care.
Hmm.
Because whenever you're in the industry, no one is going to judge you on your coding speed, at least.
Yes.
But
Yes.
when you are doing competitive coding, your speed matters.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
So your interviewer would be more looking into your analytical skills. Like if
Hmm.
I give you a question,
Hmm.
then if whether or not you will be asking me for more information, be clear
Hmm.
about the specs before starting to approach the solution. So coding questions became a good enough means. Okay.
Hmm.
That's why what happened is that everyone was asking coding questions.
Yes.
So the students said that forget about development, I am
Hmm.
going to prepare what will land me a job.
Yeah.
That's why the coding culture, the coding community became so large.
Right.
Okay. So I cannot tell you that go for development only,
Hmm.
because coding is something that they will ask you in your online assessment.
Yes.
Coding is something they will ask you in your interviews.
Hmm.
You need to practice coding. And I cannot tell you that do coding only, forget about development altogether,
Hmm.
because that will be what I can say, that will be a very bad thing to do. Although there are students who do land good jobs just on the basis
Hmm.
of their coding skills, because the interviewer never got a chance to test their development skills.
Yes.
Okay. So what I would recommend you is that, of course, spend your fair share of your time on coding,
Hmm.
but be aware of all those development principles that a software developer goes through. Okay.
Hmm.
So
Right.
how a software is developed, develop one or two on your own.
Yes.
Okay. Join a group of 3, 4, or 5.
Hmm.
Build something which is good enough to present to an interviewer, and you can talk 30 minutes on it. Okay.
Yes.
That
Right.
should be the target, not a
Hmm.
hard and fast rule. This is something I'm just telling you.
Yes.
Most interviewer would uh, talk about your project for, let's say, 15 minutes max.
Hmm.
But while choosing a project, keep in mind that the project should have enough elements that I can talk about it for 30 minutes. Okay.
Right.
Like, what are the things we implemented, what are the challenges we faced, what are the things that could have done but
Yes.
we couldn't do it because of resource crunch. Had the team had been bigger, we could have done some more. What are the
Hmm.
new features that could have been applied? What are
Yes. Yes.
the places where this piece
Hmm.
of software could be deployed? These are the things that you should keep in mind while choosing a project. So do 2 3 projects, that is good enough.
Hmm.
And alongside, you need to do coding, because that is something everyone asks. So that is
Right.
the thing. No clear cut only one answer to CP versus development.
Right, right. Very nice answer. It's right means it's the right point that you took in your answer rather than biasing towards any specific thing. So yeah, it was great. As we discussed competitive programming, data structures and algorithms is something that many people are very eager to start, or many people practice it very regularly for CP. So, what do you think is the right time to start looking up to DSA and start seriously exploring it and doing problems and all with that?
Okay, so what is the right time, you ask? To that, I will ask you a question first, which is, are you looking to get into coding from a placements point of view,
Hmm.
like for interviewing in a company and getting a job, or are
Hmm.
you talking about that competitive coding as a sport? Which one?
Yes. For so yeah, we will look up to coding as placements point of view for now.
Placements point of view. See, uh, one thing is for sure, that when many people don't know that what is the difference between competitive coding
Hmm.
and the coding that we need to crack a good enough company, let's say Google.
Yes.
Okay, so the main difference is that most of it is overlapping. That's the
Hmm.
good part.
Yes.
But what you need to know is competitive coding is a superset of what you will be needing to land a good job.
Yes. Right.
So in order to land a good product based company, the kind of coding that you need to do, let's call it interview prep.
Hmm. Yes.
Okay, so think of interview prep as a smaller circle.
Hmm.
At that circle would have some basics of data structures, algorithm, and sometimes you need to dive deep and learn some complex data structures along with some rare algorithms. When I say rare,
Hmm.
I mean the number of questions that has been asked previously in interviews based on that algorithm is very low.
Right.
So all of those come inside interview prep, inside that smaller circle that we made. Add to that some more complex maths and all,
Hmm.
some different things. Like I remember one question from Code Forces
Hmm.
where you needed to know about series that we had in standard 11 in mathematics,
G.
different types
Yes.
of
Yes.
series, right?
Yes. Yes.
So you needed to know that in order to solve that question. So
Hmm.
that comes under competitive coding.
Yes.
So
Yes.
competitive coding, make no mistake, is a sport.
Hmm.
You do it for fun, you do it inside that community.
Yes.
If you are doing competitive coding on your own without
Hmm.
interacting with the community, maybe on the
Hmm.
platform itself or in real life having some friends doing it with you, you would never enjoy competitive coding. Okay,
Hmm.
but coming back to interview prep, that was your main question. Interview prep is
Hmm.
comparatively easier. I'm not saying
Hmm.
easy,
Hmm.
but comparatively easier than
Yeah.
competitive coding. Okay,
Correct.
so when to start interview prep, I would say a good enough time would be 1 year
Hmm.
before you start applying for companies. Okay,
Yes.
so let's say you are in your bachelor's degree,
Hmm.
third year,
Yes.
right? So when you just step into third year, your fifth semester, you know that once your sixth semester gets over and seventh semester starts, your fourth year starts, you will be eligible to apply for companies, either
Yes.
on campus placements or offline, right?
Yes.
So your third year, just the starting of your third year is a good enough time to start your interview prep. Okay.
Right.
Now you can enlarge the scope of this question and say, what about internships? Right. So nowadays, platforms like LeetCode are so famous that students from first year, second year only are doing LeetCode problems.
Yes.
So companies who are opening for internship positions, even they are seeing that those second year students know a lot about coding. So generally what happens, it's always a demand supply game, right?
Right.
So the supply is so huge of good enough coders that companies might start asking coding questions, medium level coding questions for internships.
Yes, right.
Now what to do? What to do in that case? Apply your brain. Whether you want to go for internships, if you want to go for internships, then start maybe 3-4 months before that.
Yes, right.
But if you want to properly, dedicatedly learn about coding and get a good enough job, like a full-time job, 1 year before that is something I recommend. Also, I would like to add, if you start 6 months before and spend 2 hours every day for 6 months, that is enough. Okay.
Yes.
So 2 hours every day for 6 months, that should be enough to prepare you for a product-based company's online assessment questions and interviews.
Right.
But then why did I say 1 year? Because the amount of preparation that you need to do, that is not tough. 2 years every day, 2 hours every day is the tough part. Not a lot of
Yes.
people can maintain that consistency.
Consistency. Right.
There will be days when you will be missing out. There will be days when your semester exam comes, so you have to give some break.
Study.
So based on that, it's a good enough idea to start one year early. Like the best case would be 1 year early, worst case 6 months early. You might see there is a warning that I must tell you on this note as well, is if you surf the internet, then you might see many sheets, coding sheets. Have you come across any, Hiram?
Cheat sheets, right?
Cheat sheets, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
what they say is that I have compiled 100 questions for you.
Yes. Yes. I know.
You spend 40 days, you spend 60 days, and you will be prepared for that interview rounds.
Yes.
Correct. That is true. If you solve those 100 questions, you will be prepared for interview round. I do not disagree with that. But where I disagree is that learning only those 100 questions, especially when you are a beginner, is not the right thing to do.
Yes. Right.
Okay. So you are solely, as if you are, in a sense, mugging up questions. So, okay, this question, I need to apply this question, fine. So
Yes.
in true sense, you are not learning the essence of coding. For that, in the worst case, you need to give 6 months. Okay.
Right.
When you are just starting out coding, don't go for cheat sheets which has 50 questions, 100 questions.
Right. Right.
You need to explore 200, 300 questions. Okay. Do
Yes.
not look for that optimized path कि
Right.
मेरे को optimized route बता दो, मैं वही follow करूंगा. मुझे इधर उधर नहीं जाना है, straight line जाना है. The problem is when you go to the straight line, when you just go in a straight line and reach your destination, you have hardly faced difficulties.
Yes. Right.
On your way, right? So you don't learn. You don't, in a true sense, you are not prepared in a proper way. So
Right.
always 6 months is what I recommend. Minimum 6 months. And 200, 300 questions is like you will need just to get the flavor of it. 100
Means cheat
questions karoge
sheets.
to
Means
uh,
cheat sheets are like doing just previous year questions before going to GE.
no.
Right.
See, cheat sheets will capture important questions, surely.
Right.
है ना? But
Hmm.
important, it's like I'm telling you from an analogy, it's like watching a cricket match only viewing the highlights.
Oh, right,
Okay,
right.
चौके छक्के देख लिया तो हो
Oh,
गया,
okay.
मुझे भी
Yes.
पता है कि कैसे खेलना है.
Right.
But what happened in between are those singles and doubles spacing your innings.
Right.
You never saw that,
Yes, right.
right? So you only saw important questions.
Yes.
Whenever something different comes up, more often than not, you are not in a proper position to tackle that thing.
Yes, yes.
But
Okay.
but if you learn to defend the ball properly, then maybe take singles, doubles, and when your opportunity comes, then go for the boundaries. That will be in a proper sense learning how to
Right,
code,
right.
right? So
Right.
that is what I'm saying. Follow a path. Cheat sheets are good only when, I'll give you a scenario. Cheat sheets are good for me. Why do I say that? I have spent my 6 months learning coding. I have done 300 questions, but right now I am a little out of touch.
Yes.
Then I decide that, okay, in let's say 2 months time, there is this interview with XYZ company. I'm looking for a job switch or something. So maybe I need to brush up my coding skills.
Skills.
So for that, I do not need to solve another 200 questions, right?
Yes, right.
I just need to visit those important questions, and everything inside my memory will be sparked open. So cheat sheets are for those who are doing it for the second time, for the third
Yes.
time, but not for the first time.
Right, right.
That is what I am telling you.
And what do you think is a right way to learn DSA? Means many people take up paid courses online. Many people do it from YouTube. Some people say that don't use YouTube, use some paid courses or things like that. So, what's your opinion on
Why?
this?
Why? I don't understand. See, I'm not saying paid courses are bad. Okay, there are some paid courses which are really good. Like one paid course which comes to my mind, which is more like that cheat sheet that I said, which has something like 60-70 questions. It's good enough for you when you are looking for a job switch. During that time, that one paid course came to my mind, is very famous. But think about it generally. I mentioned about demand supply once, right? In today's world, everyone is having a smartphone in their hands, right?
Yes.
More or less every student has a laptop. There are other devices which are becoming smart. Okay, so in today's world, coding is arguably one of the hottest jobs out there, right? So there is demand, and because there is demand, there is a huge supply of students as well. Like there are so many engineering colleges and so many engineering students coming up. Now think about it. There is high demand, there is high supply. Now there needs to be some entity who connects this supply with the demand.
Yes, right.
What I mean by that, there are so many students and so many jobs to get, but the students need to learn coding before getting the job.
Yes, right.
So now think about it. There are so many resources that came up just because, coding resources or computer science resources as a
Yes.
whole, which came up for free, because the number of viewers is so high. Number of computer science students, or number of, let's say, electrical students, mechanical students who want to get into IT,
Yes, yes.
who want to learn coding, that number of viewers is so high that there is ample amount of free resources on the web.
Right.
कि तुम मेरा कोडिंग के क्लासेस देख लो, मैं ऐड से कमा लूंगा, मुझे तुम्हारा पैसा नहीं चाहिए. यूट्यूब तो ऐसे ही चलता है ना.
Right, right.
So in today's world, if you want to learn coding, and there is an ocean of free resources available out there, I do not understand that person you mentioned who says कि free courses से नहीं होता, paid courses लो. Why? Free. Now the problem over here is, when I'm talking about free courses and so many YouTube channels and so many free resources coming up for learning coding and all, there is another problem in hand. That problem is, how do I filter out good content from not so good content? I won't say bad content, because everyone is teaching you something, right? No one is teaching you wrong things.
Yes,
So the word I'm looking for is structured way. Okay, structured.
yes, yes.
So you would be looking for something which is structured.
Mm.
If I get something which is structured and that is free, that is all you need.
Yes, right.
Now what happens is that many a times we see, oh my god, so many YouTube channels, so many resources, which one would be the best one? Oh my god, how do I decide? To those students, I would say that you don't need to decide. Okay,
Yes.
you start off. I'm right now I'm talking about free resources only. You start off from any channel, any platform that you feel like, and then move your way up. What I mean by that is, students nag that, how do I decide which one is the best course? Tell me the best course and I'm going to learn from that there.
Right.
Till then, I'm waiting. So it's like saying that I am a very unhealthy person. I am a very obese person. I have put on a lot of weight. My friend comes to me and say that you should start running. I reply to my friend that, okay, I have seen that Usain Bolt runs in a Nike shoe. So Nike shoes must be the best equipment that a runner can get. So once I'll have a Nike shoe, I'll start running. So you can see the flaw in this sentence, right? You don't need to wait for a Nike shoe in order to run.
Yes, right.
You start running with whatever you have. Once you get good enough that you feel like a better running shoe would help me right now, that at that moment you make that decision, that should I switch my shoe from a CS point of view? Should I switch this platform? Should I switch to a better content? But while starting out, you just go with whichever you can resonate. ये channel अच्छा लग रहा है, ये जो बोल रहा है वो मुझे समझ में आ रहा है, that is fine. Start with that. है ना? See, once you have your skin in the game, you will see that your environment is slowly changing. I can give you a very simple example. If you, Hiram, open youtube.com on your laptop right now, you will see a lot of recommended videos on the home screen.
Yes. Right.
So if you show me those recommended videos, then I can take a very good guess that what is going on in your life right now for the last 3 months.
Yeah.
है ना? So if you are a chilled out guy, then let's for example, let's say you will be having some songs, some vlogs, or let's say some gaming videos. So I'll say, Hiram, you are very much into gaming. You like this game, and you enjoy its content as well. Now, all of a sudden, you decided that I need to code.
Hmm.
You start from somewhere. Then you will be asking YouTube that how to sort an array,
Yes.
how to do it efficiently,
Hmm.
how to find duplicate elements in an array. You start asking YouTube these questions, and
Hmm.
after 3 months time, I come back and ask you, Hiram, show me your YouTube home screen.
Yeah.
I can clearly see the difference that the home screen has a lot of uh, those coding tutorials right now.
Related. Yes.
Maybe some of those gaming videos have gone.
Hmm.
The
Right.
recommendation changed. So this is what I mean by your environment will change. Unless you start doing it,
Hmm.
your environment will not change.
Hmm.
But once you start doing it, YouTube will recommend you one video. You might not open it. You might open the second one. Once you open the second one, you will see there are other videos which come to the side of it, right?
Yes.
As other
Hmm.
recommendations. You will see, oh my God, this is something I never came across. What is this thing?
Yes. Hmm.
From there, you will go to somewhere else. From there, you will go to somewhere else. So it's like opening up a new avenue of opportunities for
Yes.
you
Yes. Yes.
once you
Hmm.
start doing it. But till the time you don't start and you are just waiting for the optimal resource, the best
Yes.
resource,
Yes.
the most structured way, nothing is going to happen.
Right. Right.
Get started and you will see that you will figure out on your own what is
Hmm.
good, what is bad. 6 months
Right.
from now, I'll come to you and you will be in a good enough position to teach me that okay, these are the videos that I need because this is exactly for me.
Hmm.
These videos I don't need because this is very much slow paced.
Hmm.
This is very much theoretical based. I don't need. You will be able to distinguish that
Hmm.
6 months from now. But you need to
Yes. Right.
start today. That is the thing.
Yeah. So there is
So
one more question. Yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
So
Continue.
I remember you. What was your first? I mean, the initial question was
Eh,
paid versus right
Free. Free.
free or something, or where can people start?
Yes.
Was that the question?
Yes. Yes. Right.
Coding.
Yes.
Okay, so I spent a lot of time on the what part, what to do. Okay, so if you ask me from where to do it, some quick tips would be for ekdam beginners. I would say
Hmm.
HackerRank is a good enough platform. Okay,
Hmm.
so
Right.
if you go to HackerRank, then you will see some playlists. I
Hmm.
remember in HackerRank you can sort questions based on difficulties.
Yes. Yes.
Easy,
Right.
medium, something like that. Easy, medium,
Hmm.
hard. So you solve easy questions, and I remembered HackerRank having some playlists as well based on difficulty. So
Yes.
it's like basics of C++, then
Hmm.
it has advanced. So do the basics from over there.
Yes. Yes.
It's a good enough platform for that.
Hmm.
Now, if you ask me what is a good enough platform when I want to start my interview preparation properly, I mean not just getting started but properly,
Hmm. Yeah.
then I would suggest interview bit.
Okay.
So interview bit is what I have seen. Strangely, not a lot of people talks about it. Many people talk about lead code. Even I
Hmm.
use lead code. Okay, so I'm not saying lead code is bad. Lead code is very good, but
Hmm.
interview bit for a first time learner is even better,
Right.
because I'll tell you why. If you go to interview bit and go to
Hmm.
the programming section,
Hmm.
they have this, you said that gamified thing. They
Yes. Yes.
have
Yes.
this nice thing that in
Hmm.
level 1 you only have something like arrays and maths.
Right.
Once you do arrays and maths, level
Hmm.
2 of binary search will open up.
Yes.
So
Yes.
before doing arrays and maths, you cannot go to level 2.
Hmm.
Before doing level 2, you cannot go to those level 3 which has, I don't remember, let's say which
Hmm.
has stacks and queues.
Yeah.
So that is a good enough structured way. If you open arrays, you will see different buckets.
Hmm.
So arrays will have, let's say, 5 buckets.
Hmm.
Let's say linked lists will have 3 buckets, 4 buckets, something like that.
Hmm.
The idea is
Uh,
each bucket covers a certain type of questions. Let's say you solve one question from bucket 1,
hmm.
your bucket 1 will get a tick mark.
Hmm.
Your bucket 2 has two questions, you solve one of them, 2 will get a tick mark. So
Right.
once you accumulate all the tick marks on all the buckets for arrays,
Hmm.
the whole array as a topic will get a tick mark.
Right.
Now in level 1 there is arrays and maths, let's say,
Match.
or bit manipulation.
Hmm.
So you got tick mark for array, you do the same for bit manipulation, and only then your level will get a tick mark and the next level
Right.
will open. So you
Yes. Yes.
see,
Yes.
you not only they are giving you structure, they are
Hmm.
also ensuring that you cannot skip a particular topic or a subtopic before
Hmm.
moving on to the next ones.
All right.
That
Right.
is a good thing. Two more important feature that I loved about interview bit I would like to mention is one thing, uh, beside each question you will get to see the tags of companies
Yes. Yes.
where these questions were asked, something
Yes.
which you will get in lead code as well.
Lead code also. Yes.
Yeah, but another thing is you will see a time.
Hmm.
Okay, so in interview bit you will see a time something like 27 minutes 34 seconds. Now what does that
Hmm.
mean? For all the successful submissions
Hmm.
that lead code got for that particular question, that is the average time everyone took.
Yes. Right.
So it's more like, uh, it's more like you are going to the nets, you are practicing your shots
Hmm.
every day, but you are not playing matches.
Right.
So interview bit is like your gym sessions, your swimming sessions, your net
Hmm.
sessions. You are practicing at your own pace, but you
Hmm.
also need to get a flavor of competition, right?
Yes. Yes. Right.
A real time bounded thing. You have 2 hours, you need to
Hmm.
solve 4 questions, you
Hmm.
solve the second question and you see that only 20 minutes remaining. What do I
Hmm.
do in this 20 minutes? How do I get past some of the test cases, if not solve the whole question?
Right.
These are the things that you learn from practicing in contests, live contests.
Right.
These are the things that you get in playing proper cricket match. You don't get that by
Yeah.
doing net practice, right? So
Hmm.
I did net practice only, so that was a
Okay.
fatal flaw in my preparation.
Right.
That's why my speed was slow, my ability to handle
Hmm.
time pressure took a hit initially.
Hmm.
That is something you should do. Solve 1 or 2 questions, 3 questions, whatever you feel like, on interview bit, every day, and every week once, every week you take part in that lead code
Yes.
competition. That's a good one.
Okay. So next question is that we discussed all these things, CP, development, DSI, and all. But the question we often get from students in our college is how can they manage their academics and college-related stuff along with practicing coding and development and computer programming, etc.
See, once you decide where are you going to hustle, what I
Hmm.
mean by that is during my time when I was in my third year, I spent most of my time preparing for gate,
Hmm.
isn't it? You might choose a different path. It's totally fine.
Hmm.
You might choose that I want to appear for UPSC. That is even fine.
Hmm. Hmm.
Someone might choose that she wants to pursue an MBA. So
Hmm.
she is preparing for CAT. Another
Hmm.
person is preparing for this product based companies that we are talking mostly about, coding and stuff. So that
Right.
is fine. As long as you are doing something which challenges you, it's fine.
Hmm.
Now the question is how to do these challenging tasks on your own alongside your semester things,
Yes.
right? Like
Hmm.
practicals and all. See,
Hmm.
once you decide which line you are going to pursue and you start your journey, then make a plan that this is how I am, like every day 3 hours or 2 hours
Mm.
I'm going to put behind this.
Yes.
See, just deviating from this point once and touching up
Mm.
on a different but important point.
Mm.
You will see me mentioning 2 hours, 3 hours throughout the course of this podcast time and time again,
Podcast, yes.
and I hardly say 6 hours, 7 hours, right?
Mm. Right.
Why? Because whenever you are preparing, focus more on long term but consistent 2 hours compared to
Mm.
1 month of 6 hours each
Right.
every day. So
Yes, yes.
2 hours for 6 months is much better
Mm.
than 15 hours for 1 month.
Right, exactly.
That's why whenever you're planning, plan two
Mm.
hours for 6 months like this.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so next question is, if you say that how can I manage college studies?
Mm.
uh, See, everyone knows that your engineering curriculum is not that tough. Okay,
Mm. Right.
if you want to uh, do it properly and want to achieve for that 10-point grade or above 9, then it will take you some efforts. You need to put
Mm.
in some hours. But if you want to just get a good enough grade, maybe more than 8,
Mm.
alongside I'm doing my side hustle, which is like preparing for gate, preparing for product based companies, that is
Right,
fine.
right.
Then I don't think you need to put in a lot of hours every day.
Mm.
I think this is something we all can agree. So
Yes,
it's
right.
an open secret, right? So that part will be easy.
Right.
What I can say is you need to ramp up your semester studies and all whenever semester exams are near,
Mm.
right? So if your semester is from January to May, you will hardly see students preparing properly from January. What they
Mm.
do is they start preparing in April, maybe mid March maximum, and
Mm.
they pull
Yes,
all
yes.
nighters just before the exam
Right,
and
right.
they prepare. So that is still a fine thing to do as long as you are understanding what is being taught.
Mm.
You are retaining those concepts. Just don't be like commit and vomit. don't
Right, right.
don't do that. As long as that is happening, it is fine. You can do that. From a Jan to May semester, you start preparing in April, it's fine.
Mm.
Also be aware that out of those 6 to 8 subjects that you have, not all
Mm.
of those are equally important, right?
Mm.
Some of those are easy,
Right.
some of those are not important, and there will be some which are important and will take some time. You need to worry about those particular subjects only,
Right.
something which are important and will take my time. It could be subjects like computer networks, operating systems, databases. These are the things, the knowledge of these you will be needing
Mm.
in the industries as well. So when your Java classes are going on, they are teaching you about object oriented
Mm.
programming, they are giving you some projects, do
Right.
that properly. But if they are giving you subjects on EVS, environmental studies, which most of the colleges do, uh, then you don't need to give your heart and soul into that preparation,
Right.
that subject, right? You just study so much that you retain some of it, that is fine. If you want to
Yes.
retain, if you don't want to retain, spend that time in your preparation,
Yes, right.
right? What I was saying is whenever the semester exams are near, at that point of time you don't have the liberty to choose, right? You
Yes,
have to
right.
prepare for EVS and you have to prepare for operating systems alike,
Right.
because pass to karna hai na, acha marks to laana hai. So during that time, for that 1 month, I can say
Mm.
you can slow down your practice. If you want, you can totally stop it as well. Even that is fine. I did that for 1 month I stopped my gate preparation. That
Mm.
was fine as long as you are coming back to your gate preparation as soon
Mm.
as the exams are done.
Yes, right.
the wrong thing to avoid over here would be I stop for my semester exams and I lose my habit and I never come back. That will be disastrous. Just don't do that, and otherwise, semester exams are fine. They could be easily handled. Right. So that's the thing.
So my next question is now these questions are moving towards like choosing between masters and placements and all and things like that. So would you have pursued anything else after your bachelor's rather than a master's degree if you would have got a chance or anything like that?
No, no, because you see, a very important point comes to my mind when I think about this answer.
Hmm.
After my bachelor's, you say,
Hmm.
IIT, going into IIT was the best thing for me.
Hmm.
Okay, and that
Right.
is what I got. So I got my best choice. So I don't want that to change. The point that comes to my mind is, why was that the case? Like, why did I want to go into IIT? That would be an interesting thing to look into. See, everyone knows about that IITs are the best in the country. They produce some very good students, good packages, good startups came from IITs. These kind of stuff every student knows. Okay,
Right.
especially if you're an engineer, you have to know, right? But where we fail in our pursuit is we know these facts as theory, but we have not seen that, we have not realized that, we have not felt that. How many of you can say that I have talked to an IITian in person, not about what to do, how to do these kind of stuff, just about his life? How is his life different just from being an IIT? What are the things he is getting that another student is not getting? What are let's say the company culture in which he is working? Just have these kind of conversation with someone, and then you will get to know that why IIT, why should I go for IIT? Everyone knows that IIT is great, but no one feels that inside. If you let's say if you want to go for MBA, why do you want to go for MBA? Why do you want to go for the best IIMs in India? Everyone knows IIMs are best, but have you been to any IIM campus yourself? Have you talked to any of those students? Have you talked to any pass out that how have your life changed? And what will I not get if I don't get there?
Yes.
These are the conversations is what I feel everyone should have at least once with some alumni or something. In my case personally, I would like to share that in my second year and my third year, I went to IIT Kharagpur for their technical fest, which is called Kshitij. Okay, I went to Kshitij, and you won't believe me, Hiram, when I say this. Had I not gone to that campus, I would have never wanted to myself go into an IIT one day that badly. That hunger, that thirst to कि मुझे भी जाना है यहाँ पे, ये मेरे में आया when I went to that campus and I just explored. Unless you feel that, unless you have been there, you won't be motivated enough. You won't
Yes.
have a good enough reason for your pursuit. You will have 1,000 reasons to give up your pursuit.
Yes.
अच्छा नहीं हो रहा है, बोर्डिंग हो रहा है, क्या ही करेंगे, इतने सारे लोग आ रहे हैं, will I make it or not? Out of 1 lakh student, 10 lakh students, will I make it? I don't know, मेरा ये problem है. There will be hundreds of questions, but you will need that one answer, one reason, which will be more fun than these 100 doubts.
Yes,
So
yes.
that is something I got when I visited IIT Kharagpur. कि मुझे IIT इसलिए जाना है because यहाँ पे जाके ये मिलेगा. अपने आंखों से मैंने जब देखा, then it became clear कि okay. So yeah, after BTech, since I knew what IIT is, if you ask me, IIT is the best thing.
Right.
Maybe if I ever went to, let's say, a foreign college,
Mm,
let's say Stanford, MIT,
mm,
if I ever been there,
mm.
maybe my answer would have been different. I might have
Yes.
answered that, you know what, after BTech, MIT jata to acha hota. But since I've
Mm.
never been there, I don't know what it feels like to be
Right,
uh,
right,
to be studying there, right? But I
right.
knew what it feels like to be an IIT. ये
Exactly.
लाइफ होता है, ऐसे बिंदास होता है, खेलते कूदते रहते हैं, और जब पढ़ाई करना होता है तो कर लेते हैं. वो
Mm,
मैंने खुद से देखा ना. So that was the best case for me.
mm,
This is why for a lot of students the best case
mm,
is getting a service based job,
right.
because अपने सीनियर्स को वो पाते हुए देखा है.
तो हम
उसके बाद सीनियर्स फाइनेंशियली फ्री
mm,
हो गए, दे
exactly.
वर गोइंग टू वेकेशंस, दे आर
Mm,
बाइंग व्हीकल्स. अपने सीनियर्स को वो करते हुए देखा ना, तो सर्विस बेस्ड जॉब इज द बेस्ट इन देयर केस.
yes, right.
सो दिस इज द रीजन यू नीड टू एक्सप्लोर कि अगर प्रोडक्ट बेस में जाना है
Mm,
तो उसका लाइफ कैसा होगा, आईआईटी जाना है तो उसका
mm,
लाइफ कैसा होगा.
yes.
दैट इज द थिंग.
And now coming to your life as IIT, so let's talk about placement season in IIT. So what differences do you feel between normal placement season between normal colleges and placement season at IITs,
Oh
specifically
my god.
about how students prepare and how they look towards placements uh, as a whole?
See, if I started talking about placements in IIT, it
Hmm.
will be a whole different podcast in itself. I can talk on it for
Yeah.
1 hour, 2 hour. Okay, I
Yeah.
literally can.
Yes.
So I don't know I don't know how much time do you have for me for this particular question. You just give me a time frame and then I'll start constructing my answer. So 5-minute answer, 10-minute answer, which 2-minute answer, what are you looking for?
Yes, 2 to 3 minutes will be okay.
2 to 3 minutes. So if I have to tell it, if I had to put it in a very short manner, I would say the main difference is that during my placements in my BTech, I saw
Mhm.
since we never had seniors, we were totally guided by our faculties. For any other, let's say for
Right,
you,
right.
you will be seeing your seniors, you will have
Mhm.
that extra thing, so that is fine.
Mhm.
So you will be knowing what are the things to do. You
Mhm.
will be getting guidance from your seniors and your faculties, that is fine.
Mhm.
In IITs also we didn't get placement guidance from faculties, because faculties को फर्क नहीं पड़ता उस पे.
Mhm.
They know कि सबका placement हो जाता है, so why should we worry
Right.
IITs में. So we talk about placements with our seniors, so they tell us that these are the things to do.
Mhm.
The huge differences, listing out the huge differences, are that in
Mhm.
IITs people start preparing for placements, totally hardcore placements 6 months before. I mean that एक सेमिस्टर से वो प्लेसमेंट प्रिपरेशन ही चलता है.
Right.
Okay, in IITs ऐसा होता है that you need to take X number of subjects in your total program, BTech
Mhm.
program or MTech program. So वो X number of courses कैसे लेना है वो तुम प्लान करो.
Mhm.
So the way
Right.
students do that is they keep either 0 courses or 1 courses for that single semester, क्योंकि तब मुझे सिर्फ प्लेसमेंट प्रिपरेशन करना है.
Right.
ये तुम्हारा बीटेक में नहीं होता. ठीक है,
Mhm.
6-7 सब्जेक्ट्स रहता ही है, तो वो भी पढ़ना होता है. दैट इज अ बिग डिफरेंस. So students are preparing in groups in IITs. Everyone is helping out everyone. In BTech colleges, students are not that very serious. So it will help if you just distinguish those who are serious and make a group among them. We used
Right.
to code in group, we used to discuss in group, and that helped a lot.
Right.
That is something what people don't do in BTechs.
Mhm.
क्योंकि टायर 1 में क्या होता है, प्रिपरेशन 6 महीने पहले शुरू होता है. टायर 3 में क्या होता है, प्रिपरेशन 10 कंपनी में रिजेक्शन खाने के बाद शुरू होता है.
Yes.
ना, big difference. So this is a big difference. And another very important difference is, in tier 1 companies queue up to hire you. In tier 3 your placement team, your placement managers and all जो college के होते हैं, they queue up in order to hire,
Companies.
in
Yes, yes.
order to not hire, pursue companies to come to your college. As a result, there is a significant difference that I saw in whenever I was in IIT Bombay. Companies used to apply for placements ki I am going to come for placements, these are the packages that I am
Yes.
offering, which is fine. So our placement managers, they descended out, they sorted out those companies in a kind of decreasing fashion, that the best companies will come first, the not so best companies will come later on.
Yes, right.
So you as a student won't have the dilemma कि मेरा ये company चला गया, तो मतलब ये company मैं छोड़ देता हूँ क्योंकि आगे अच्छा company आने वाला है.
Yes, yes, right.
ये dilemma टायर 3 में होता है, क्योंकि वहां पे
Right.
कोई ऐसा स्ट्रक्चर्ड वे नहीं रहता है. जो कंपनी जब आ रहा है, इट माइट हैपन कि एक कंपनी 10 दिन बाद आ रहा है जिसका पैकेज डबल है. So
Right.
you are in a dilemma that shall I perform properly in this company and get the job, because if I get the job I'll be delisted from the placement process.
Right.
This is a big difference. This is a big difference.
So it was great to have a glimpse of placements of IIT from you. So now I will hand over this podcast to Deva again. So please.
So, hello, Gourab, once again. So,
Hi.
yeah, so we are coming to the end, and we had brought some questions from the students actually, but I'm glad to say that every question has been answered already during the podcast with on your podcast with Hiram and with me. The questions were like, as an IIT, would you like to share your experience or tips of students for handling academics, skills? There are questions related to skills. IIT, masters from IIT, there was a question related to masters from IIT. Every question is answered. So I'm so glad that we are coming to the end. So I'd like to wrap with a rapid fire question at the end. So yes, yeah, so this will be a funny activity actually. So yes, the first question is IIT or MIT? Abroad one. US.
MIT.
MIT. Okay. Masters at IIT, masters at IIT or job at Google?
Masters at IIT.
Okay. Working at a unicorn startup or FANG?
Startup. Unicorn startup.
Okay, so a specific reason.
Am I supposed to explain the answers as well quickly?
No. I just want to just explain this one, that why did you choose startup?
Startup. So you see, right now I am just starting out my career. So at this point of time, more than money, I should focus on gaining knowledge as much as possible. And that is something you learn a lot and very rapidly at a startup. If you work at Google, or for that matter, AMD that I'm working on right now, so things happen so in a structured way, and everything, you even if you want to take a single step, you have to go through so many procedures, because nothing can go wrong. It's like this. But in a startup, you're just given the liberty to do whatever you want, just come up with the solutions as quickly as possible. So you learn a lot while working at a startup. So I would have chosen Google if I was married, having kids, and that is the time when I would like to settle in with some job security and money aspects and all. But right now, when me, or for that matter, anyone is starting their career, learning knowledge would uh, go a long way.
Yeah. So the
Hands-on.
next question, the next rapid round question is MTech or MBA? Like if you had two options, MTech at
I had.
IIT Bombay. Oh, okay. So
Uh,
can you share this
I
experience of this two?
I I chose MTech because, as I said, when I was thinking about going for higher studies as an escape for not getting a job, that I will not be getting a job, so let's choose a track. So I thought about both MTech and MBA at that point
Hmm.
of time. So one thing is that at that point of time, after my second year was about to end, at that point of time I hardly knew anything about engineering. Okay, so
Hmm.
what I mean by that is that all the semester exams that I had, I just committed and vomited, those kind of all-nighter
Hmm.
things. So nothing, no, very less hands-on experience at that point of time. So if had I chose MTech, then I had to study from scratch all the engineering subjects
Hmm.
that I didn't study till second year.
Hmm.
But if I chose MBA, then for the CAT exam, they will be asking me basically maths, which is aptitude, and in English, right? So that aptitude part is something I was inherently good at from
Hmm.
the very beginning. So maths apti, I could say that I was 80-90% already prepared. English, I could say I was 40%, 50% already prepared. I might have needed to work on some vocabs and this kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So as you can see, had I chosen MBA, 50 to 60% of the things I already know or I am good at. But
Hmm.
but I chose MTech because, but even after the fact that I had to start from scratch, because of one very simple logic, which is whenever you are working in the industry after an MBA, your outcome means your results will be dependent on humans, people, isn't it? In most of the cases, right? uh, I don't know about, there are so many disciplines for MBA like finance, IT, and I don't know about these, but if I had chosen MBA, I would have gone for marketing because marketing is something I love. I relate to marketing a lot. I love those marketing strategies companies put out, so I would have always pursued marketing. And from that point of view, I'm saying that my, even if I put 100 input, even if I put 150 input, I might get 60 output, 70 output, because this happens that you can put in all of your best efforts, but if your outcome is based on the other person believing in your story or not, believing in your product or not, this can vary very much in the line of marketing or something. So MBA as a whole, I can say that you will be mainly working with human, and because of this thing comes that your 100% input might translate into, let's say, 60 to 70% output. That's not the case with engineering. So had I chose engineering, which is in computer science, when you're working with computers, know one thing for sure, that if you are putting in 100 input, you will get 100 output. If you are getting an error in your code, that means your computer is not broken, your compiler is not broken, your code is broken. Always, always. If nothing is going to plan, it's because what you wrote is flawed. So if you give 80, the computer will give you back 80. If you give
Very
90, it
nice.
will give back 90, because
Yeah,
it
yeah,
has no
yeah.
brain of its own, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is this single thing, that I don't have to depend on some other person for my output, was a big parameter that I considered, and thus I went for MTech.
Wow,
But
so
again,
inside.
there will be people who will choose MBA, and I'm very fine with that. Even as I
Yeah.
said that I love marketing, so I maybe in a sense wanted to go for MBA more than MTech, but then the feasibility study that I did, uh,
Mm.
I chose MTech
Yeah, yeah,
eventually.
yeah. Yeah, very nice. So the last question I'd like to ask is that your favorite coding language or framework or technology?
Just I can go with coding language, which is C++ right now,
Okay.
because that is which I have done most of my competitive coding.
You're comfortable with that language.
Comfortable with that. Frameworks, there are so many different things. It mostly depends on what are you building.
Mhm.
So I cannot choose a favorite framework for that. So it depends. Like you might be building an Android right now, so your
For web development, it might be
languages
other.
for the web, it different. For AI ML, it is different. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
So thank you, Dada. The whole podcast was so much full of insights we learned through your experiences. And I really thank you so much for being the first guest in our podcast. So yeah,
Sure, man.
so now I'd like to wrap this up. And you were watching CodePVG. I'd like to thank everyone who was listening to this podcast. And once again, thank you so much, Gaurav Dada. You are so
Sure,
friendly, just like an elder brother. You guided us through this, and so thanks. Bye bye.
sure, man. Enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah,
Bye.
yeah. Bye.